There were moments when I thought I couldn't endure any longer, but your name was the breath in my lungs, the force that helped me carry on. In the silence of my hospital room, the voice of your love was all I could hear, echoing in my mind and filling my heart. The days blurred together in that hospital, but your love was the one thing that stayed clear in my thoughts, shining through the haze of pain. The hospital couldn't take away the way I felt about you, and as long as I carried you in my thoughts, I felt I could overcome anything. There were days when I thought I might not make it, but the love I felt for you, even in my weakest moments, was a source of strength. I never realized just how powerful the mind can be until I found that simply thinking of you made everything else fade away. In those quiet moments when everything else was silent, your presence filled the room. Even the hospital couldn't steal that from me. Even when I couldn't feel my own body, your love kept me alive in my thoughts, reminding me there was still something worth fighting for. You were with me every step of the way, not in the physical sense, but in my thoughts, where your love carried me through each moment. The machines beeped, the hours dragged on, but in my heart, it was you who kept me going, a reminder that I wasn't alone. Sometimes the mind becomes a powerful ally. Even when my body was weak, your presence in my thoughts gave me the strength to endure. In the isolation of that hospital bed, your love was the one thing I never felt alone without. The hospital may have been full of doctors and nurses, but the only person I truly needed there was you, even if it was just in my thoughts. The nights were long, but your love made them bearable. In my thoughts, you were always there, reminding me that I wasn't fighting alone. There was no distance, no separation between us in my mind. Even when I was alone in that hospital room, your love was right there beside me. It was amazing how, even when my body was weak, your love gave me the energy to keep going, as though you were right there holding my hand. There's a strange comfort in knowing that even in the toughest moments, the people we love are never truly far away. They live in our thoughts. I found healing in the thought of you, in the way your love poured into my mind every time I felt weak or vulnerable. Each day that passed in the hospital, the only thing that remained unchanged was the love I felt for you in my thoughts. The hospital could provide me with medicine, but only you could provide me with the healing my heart needed. And in my thoughts, you never left. Even in a room full of people, it was your thoughts that made me feel the most connected to life and love. The machines may have monitored my body, but it was the thoughts of you that kept my spirit alive day after day. In every breath I took, in every second of silence, you were there, your love as real and constant as any physical presence could be. Even though I was isolated physically, emotionally, I never felt alone. Your love lived in my thoughts and kept me strong. The hospital was full of treatments and recovery, but nothing helped me heal more than the love I held for you in my thoughts every single day. In every moment of my recovery, I carried you with me in my thoughts, as though your love was the true medicine I needed to heal. The hospital may have been filled with sterile white walls, but the color of your love painted my thoughts, filling me with hope. I realized that even when I was lying in a hospital bed, unable to move, your love was the one thing that truly kept me alive. When pain overwhelmed me, your love was the calm in my storm, always present in my thoughts and giving me the strength to fight through each day. It was strange how, in the stillness of my hospital room, your love was the loudest sound I could hear. You were always with me, in spirit and thought. Every time I closed my eyes, I could feel your presence, your love wrapping around me like a blanket, keeping me warm in my weakest moments. I never understood the power of thoughts until I was in that hospital room where your love filled my mind and reminded me I wasn't alone. The pain in my body was real, but the comfort of your love in my thoughts was far more powerful. It kept me going through the toughest times, even when I couldn't find the words to express how I felt. Your presence in my mind spoke louder than anything else. Though I was physically separated from you, your love was never far away. It was always there, keeping me strong through the trials of my recovery. The hospital walls may have been confining, but in my thoughts, I roamed free, carried by your love that knew no limits. In my quietest moments, when the world outside seemed distant, your love was the only thing I could truly hold on to. Even in the quietest moments of pain, when I was surrounded by sterile walls and machines, your presence filled my mind. You never left, even when I felt utterly alone. In the sterile silence of the hospital room, your face was the one thing that kept me grounded. I found comfort in knowing you were thinking of me just as much as I was thinking of you. The world outside may have been busy, but in that small, quiet room, your name echoed in my mind with every breath I took. Through each test, each procedure, it was your face that I saw behind my eyelids. You were my constant companion, even when I was physically isolated. It's funny how the hardest moments in life, like being in the hospital, seem to make you realize the true depth of your thoughts. And in mine, you were always there. I was in pain, physically and emotionally, but your presence in my thoughts became the greatest comfort I could ask for. Lying in that hospital bed, I found solace not in the machines or the beeping monitors, but in the thought of you and the love that has never wavered. In that hospital room, while time seemed to slow down, your face was the only thing that made it seem like everything was going to be okay. No amount of physical distance could separate us in my thoughts. In the darkest moments, your love and care carried me through. Though I was surrounded by doctors and nurses, it was you that I wanted most. Your thoughts in my mind were my true healing. The hospital bed felt cold, but your memory wrapped me in warmth. It's amazing how much someone can mean to you when you can't be near them. In the chaos of my illness, your voice, even in my thoughts, was the calming force I needed. I found peace in remembering you. Even in the most vulnerable moments, when I was disconnected from everything else, I felt your love surround me, a constant presence in my heart and mind. The silence of the hospital was deafening at times, but in that silence, your love spoke louder than words ever could. As the hours passed slowly, your image never faded from my thoughts. It was like you were right there beside me, even when you weren't. Pain might have clouded my reality, but your love never wavered in my thoughts. That was the one constant that kept me going. In the sterile hospital environment, I clung to the idea of you. Your love was the only thing that kept me going when I had nothing else to hold on to. Even in my most fragile moments, when I felt as though I might break, you were there in my thoughts, holding me together. Sometimes the heart has a way of knowing what it needs, and in my darkest moments, your love was all I could think of. As I lay there, unable to move, it was the thought of you that kept me strong. You were always with me, in spirit, if not in body. While the world outside spun on, I remained trapped in the stillness of my mind, where you were my constant companion, my quiet strength. Though my body was weak, my thoughts were strong with the love I had for you, and in that love, I found the courage to fight through the hardest days. Hospitals are filled with moments of fear and uncertainty, but in those moments, the only certainty I had was the love you sent through my thoughts. Your presence in my mind was the soothing balm to every pain, the light that guided me through the darkness of my illness. The sterile, clinical walls couldn't stop the flood of memories and love that filled my mind every time I thought of you. Even in the depths of my illness, when I felt physically and emotionally drained, your love was the one thing that kept me going. When everything seemed uncertain and pain was the only thing I knew, the thought of you kept me grounded and reminded me that there was still hope. Though I lay in a hospital bed, feeling vulnerable and alone, your love was always with me, filling my heart with peace and strength. In a room full of machines and medical equipment, the one thing that was never foreign to me was your love in my heart and mind. Every moment of discomfort in that hospital was softened by the thought of you, and it's incredible how much healing can come from simply knowing someone cares. I could feel you with me even when I couldn't feel my own body. Your presence in my mind was my anchor through the storm of my health. Though my body was bruised, my mind was healed by the love and strength you sent through my thoughts every day I was there. The pain was real, but so was the thought of you. It was as though every heartbeat was a reminder of the love that never left me, even in my weakest moments. It wasn't the doctors or the nurses who gave me hope. It was the thought of you, always with me, lifting me up with your love. In that cold hospital bed, when I couldn't move, it was your love that helped me find the strength to keep going.